Well, let me say first, thank you to Ann for inviting me out. When I was thinking about Ann, this quote came up, and I said, it's a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. If you can fly, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. Yeah. And that has brought us here tonight because Ann, not alone with the team, but there's always got to be someone out there that loses sleep, that works tirelessly, that cries on behalf of somebody else. And so, Ann, thank you for being a leader. Thank you for being an influencer. Thank you that you kept moving. So thank you. So we are going to have... She's well deserving. That's right. Get up on your feet and give Ann a big, big love.
Was a young college student who was murdered in the 1980s, 1983. So we're here to celebrate for Georgia victims, but we're here to honor her as well. So I don't want to ever forget the reason that we're here is because somebody else had to lose their life for us to be able to fight stronger for crime victims' rights. So I want to invite up a man who stood with us when no one else would, and through a lot of difficult times, and that's Senator John Kennedy from Macon. If you would please give a roaring round of applause for Senator Kennedy. Thank you so much. I wanted him to just share a few words with you, but Senator Kennedy stood in the gap for us during the first couple of years when things were really difficult. And I just want to acknowledge him, because it's easy when something's popular, but it's not easy when the whole state is against you. But he stood and he saw us through, so thank you so much.
And involved in this, and many of you, that is that the rights of victims ought to be in our highest legal document. The other point of my inspiration was, quite frankly, you. It was you victims who came to the Capitol and told your stories. You shared some of the most personal experiences of your life. And you moved my colleagues at the Capitol, you moved the public, you've moved so many people by being willing to share what happened to you. And I can't tell you the amount of inspiration that I and many others at the Capitol received from you.
Julianne is, she's in red, she's our resident GOP expert. So we call her the GOP whisperer. And we've given... So her award is the GOP Whisperer Award. She has the ear of she's really well respected. And when she stands for something, people listen. And so what I wrote to her on this was, your years of experience in politics and your passion to help others have made you an essential member of this team. You led us through the Capitol and spent countless hours educating elected officials around the state on the need for stronger protections for crime victims. Our efforts would not have been successful without you. Thank you for your love and dedication to Marsy's Law. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. I'll let you say something.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone. This is a team effort. I mean, and everybody in this room works so hard, and we all work so well together. As Ann said, I'm very, very involved in hyper-partisan politics, and most of you know that. And the world that I'm kind of involved in every day sometimes gets so vitriolic, and it has been such a sanctuary to be able to get together with the people in this room. We all love each other. There's Republicans in this room, there's Democrats in this room, there's Libertarians and Independents in this room, and we've all come together united under one issue, and that is to fight for victims' rights and to make victims' rights part of the Georgia Constitution. And I just want to thank you all for your friendship. I love you, and I do not want this to end after tonight, after we pass, right? So let's not let this friendship end, and I thank you all for loving me, and I love you all. Thank you.
Buzz Brockway, I'll read this to you because it just, well, you know Buzz Lightyear, right? So that's what everybody knows him. So I gave him the Galactic Gratitude Award. It's not super original, but I put, as a state representative, you were one of the first to endorse Marsy's Law in 2016. So Buzz was on board before hardly anybody else was. Then your addition to the team was simply phenomenal. Eric was thrilled to no longer be the only guy on the team. And your good name and reputation, as well as your care, compassion, and respect for people across political party lines, gave our team a level of depth that made us stronger and more successful. So I just wanted to thank you, Buzz. Buzz traveled across the state. He's another GOP whisperer, but Buzz is so respected across party lines that what I really admire about Buzz is he's able to disagree in a really compassionate way, and because he just loves people, and that shows forth in everything that he does. So please give Buzz a great round of applause.
Thanks.
Inspires.
Well, thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
And I just want to echo a little bit what Julianne mentioned, that politics these days is so divisive, and everybody's at each other's throat, and it seems like every day. And it was wonderful to be part of a team that agreed about something and worked together for something that for the common good. And that was a lot of fun to be a part of. And really, I think a lot of it had to do with Ann's leadership. She put this team together that really reflects all aspects of Georgia and all the diversity that we see in our state. And it was a blessing to be a part of it, and I was glad to work on this. And Jonathan is back there looking at the votes. We have a few votes that have come in, and Marsy's Law is passing with 77% of the votes.
I'm giving Belisa, but the award is not as unique as everybody else, but it's the Courageous Leadership Award. So this is what I said. This award is given to you because of your courage in being one of the very first leaders in the victim advocate community to stand up for stronger rights for victims of crime, in spite of any risk that can be to you personally. So the Courageous Leadership Award given to Belisa, she has an organization called Ser Familia, which means to be a family, and also the Georgia Latinas Against Domestic Violence. And her organization how long has it been around?
It's going to be 18 years.
18 years. So I want to thank her for standing up. She's not only reached out to the Hispanic community, but she's really well respected in all of the community, all the victim advocate community. So thank you, Belisa.
Thank you, Ann, for inviting me to coffee. It was one of the most delicious coffees that I had because I met someone that I love and respect, and someone that put me in a journey to stand up for victims' rights and to be able to raise my voice. This Latina coming from Puerto Rico to Georgia, that was part of God's plan for me, just to bring me here and to put me in this path. And this morning when I saw the amendment on the ballot, I started bawling because it has been a long road, and I am so proud that I'm able to stand still with you tonight.
Kemia came to an event one time with a shirt that said she was unapologetically dope. And so she's getting the Unapologetically Dope Award. I want you to take a look at her. 5 years ago? 7 years ago, Kemia had been in an abusive relationship. Her husband, she was in the process of a divorce. He got a gun, came to the daycare where she was dropping off her daughter, and shot her 4 times, 3 times in the head. There's still a bullet lodged in her ribcage and her collarbone. This woman I think that deserves moments in the Georgia legislature was when we had a pastor stay at the Capitol, and Kemia was key. Her pastor, Eric Lee, brought 20 pastors to the Capitol to talk about Marsy's Law, and Keating was recognized by the Georgia House of Representatives, and that was a really special moment for her to have gone through so much, and then not just to be barely standing, but to be standing firmly here, and that's why she is unapologetically dope. So I go to her, the moment you joined our team, your impact was unmistakable. Your personal faith and your unwavering commitment to helping others who are in need has been an inspiration to us all. We could not have done this without you. She, in a small period of time, she has made the biggest impact, and we just couldn't be here without you. Thank you. For the Consider It Done Award. There is never a moment that I haven't asked Latasha to do something. She just jumps to it, and she even just comes up with ideas on her own, but she has blanketed South Georgia for us, and she still manages to be a pastor's wife and to care for people in her own congregation, but she does everything with just this positive attitude, and that's what I wrote. I said, since you came on the team, you've worked tirelessly throughout our cause. Your energy, positive attitude, and enthusiasm encouraged our team through difficult times. We all know some difficult times that we've had. You've never backed down on any assignment, and you put your whole heart into everything you do. I just appreciate you so much. So Steven's not an official member of our team, right? But he's everywhere with his camera on Facebook Live. Makes me crazy nervous because I never know like what I'm saying. And he's like, I'm on live. So I gave him the paparazzi award.
Yeah.
And so I said, this award could also be titled, You Better Watch What You're Saying because it might end up on Facebook Live award. And I said, thank you for always keeping us on your toes and your love and dedication to Marsy's Law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing journey. I would never have been in the Capitol without you. I've been in Georgia my entire life, and that was my first time, and it was amazing. I mean, when I say that blew my mind. And I thank God for the journey. I thank God for the tirelessness that you put into it. I thank you for not giving up. I thank you for standing when you didn't feel like standing. I thank you for pushing us and keeping us encouraged through all of it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just think you've been working me, making me walk 1,000 miles. Finding your phone, yes.
I'm giving Tamiko the Strength of Purpose Award. I said, you've taken all the seeds of abuse and difficulty that were sown by others in your life and transplanted them into a determined love and passion for selflessly helping others without seeking recognition for yourself. You are an amazing, amazing person, and our efforts would not have been successful without you. This woman never looks for recognition for herself, but we need to give her recognition right now.
It's sometimes it feels weird to be honored for something that you do because it's part of your life purpose, and you just do it because the work has to be done. So I don't always know how to accept recognition or awards or honors. It just feels weird because I do this because the work needs to be done, and if we're not doing it, then who else? If not us, then who else is going to do this? And so I just want to acknowledge everyone else on the team. Here I go again, sharing people. Because it was a team effort, but I'm very, very thankful to Ann and the team. I would just remember being on Facebook, and I saw these people with these purple shirts on, Marsy's Law for Georgia, and I was like, what are they doing? And they had a hearing at the Capitol, so I just kind of popped up because I was being nosy. I wanted to know what was going on. And they were talking about crime victims' rights, and at that moment I knew that I wanted to be a part of it. Not to get paid, not to be on the team, but just to be that advocate or that voice for those people who were voiceless. And so I started to volunteer just because, again, the work needed to be done. And I remember having a conversation with Ann, and I said, hey, I just had this interview, and they had the nerve of telling me that I couldn't get the job because I supported Marsy's Law. But one of the things that I learned, the lesson for me was that you never compromise your values. You never compromise your values. And I walked away from that job, I was like, I need a paycheck, God, where is it gonna come from? But he was like, you have to trust me. I walked away from that job, and a week later, Marsy's Law hired me, and hired me. So you never ever compromise your values for anything. For anything. Not a man, not a woman, not a job, because you never know where that blessing is gonna come from. So again, thank you.
Big Brother Award. Because he messes with me all the time, y'all. A bully. He's a bully. So this is what I wrote. So this is what I said. You've been a constant source of irritation, bother, and aggravation to members of this team, especially to your wife when you steal her late barbecue potatoes. However, you have been a dedicated, passionate, hardworking, and loyal team member, even though you never officially earned a paycheck. You've been a big brother to everybody on the team. Thank you so much. So I didn't get him the basket, but I got him the bag. So he was quit stealing her potatoes. There you go. Her award is the Energizer Bunny Award. I just said from day one, you've given your whole heart and soul. You've gone above and beyond the Call of Duty time and time again. You bravely pushed through your own personal pain and selflessly help others. Simply put, you never ever quit. Thank you for being a part of our team.
In 2016, and I gave her my card, and that same day she texted me. I said she's a stalker. And she set up a meeting that same day. We met 2 days later, and I was stuck with her from that point on. But I say this has been an amazing journey. I have advocated for so many bills legislatively for the past 15 years, and this has been the most rewarding. And I learned the most of this journey. I had a lot of health challenges on the way here that could have stopped me. I remember I was in the hospital, and Ann called me early last year, and I was literally sending out emails laying in the hospital bed because this bill was important to me. Because I was a victim and I did not have a voice in my situation. And I told Ann, whether they hired me or not, I wasn't going to quit until it passed. And I just thank God that they did hire me. And I got on her nerves. We began talking at 2 o'clock in the morning. James was like, listen, tell Ann to go to sleep. Tell Ann to go to sleep. Ain't nobody Ann texting you at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we're literally 12 midnight, we're talking on texting each other. But I thank God for the team. Everybody knows I've been going through here in the past couple of months. Thank you for your prayers. And we're not going to stop. This does not end today. Victims' rights, our fight for victims' rights will continue. And like I already told them, if I see another fake, I'm calling them, what can I do? Volunteer, my thing is, this bill needs to be passed in every state of the United States.
And finally, I want everyone to please stand up and give a round of applause to Christy Sims. Christy. We'll probably all know Christy Sims and her story, and I'll briefly say it for her so she doesn't have to, but then I'd like her to just say a few words. So, Christy broke up, was not going to marry her boyfriend, and he decided that if he couldn't have her, he didn't want anyone else to have her or to be attracted to her. So he took industrial grade cleaner and he poured it in a bowl and he threw it on her face to try to disfigure her. She was blind for 4 months, in a coma for 2, and they didn't believe her story at first, and it took her a long time to even get him arrested. Finally, he's in prison, but this is the idea that
crime victims' lives are changed forever by the person who does something to them, and that's why we have to stand as a state alongside of them. It's a moral obligation that we have to make sure we stand alongside of them and know that they're not alone. So I want to let Christy speak and just talk about what it means for her to stand up for the rights of other people and why you do what you do. Thank you.
Kenya Motley for introducing me to Marsy's Law. Before February this year, I had never heard of Marsy's Law. I met Ann, she explained it to me, and I didn't know that I was a Marsy's Law case. Isn't that crazy? Victims, we don't know that we don't have rights because we don't know the criminal system. We don't know the legal system the way that criminals do. And so I didn't realize that throughout my entire process, I was never notified of any hearings. This guy was booked in and bailed out and nobody ever called me, so you could have come back and hurt me again. I didn't know this until I joined. In fact, I didn't know until after. I just decided, you know what, this is good. And whatever I do, all the decisions that I make sure that I am always on the right side of history. Amen. I don't take any money, I don't do anything for myself personally. It is always important to be on the right side of history. And this right here, I know for sure is gonna save lives. And that's all I care about, is saving lives. I made it. I made it through, but there are so many people that are going to be saved because of this law. What I know for certain, my commercial's been playing around the clock, and a lot of people are attaching me to Marsy's Law. It was 99% done when I came on board. Tamiko Larry Pugh, Natasha Renee Howard, Kenya Motley, Angela, Eric, Carolyn, their husbands, they had already done the work. I'm just walking around with a scar so people are paying attention. And so I want to make that clear, that I am honored and humbled to even be a part of this, be a very small part of a very large process that's going to save a lot of lives. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This guy was my right-hand person. He did all the numbers and all the things that I hate to do. And he stood with a lot of hormonal women. And he's the most patient, caring, kind person. And so I gave him the quintessential Southern Gentleman Award. That is Eric Harrison.
Today, 1 out of 3 Americans are covered by Marsy's Law. All right!